Hello and welcome to being MsDiva. I want to talk about encouraging words. I want to talk about lifting a young lady's spirit up. I want to talk about how words can either build you or break you. How words can either encourage you or um, defeat you, cause you to think, or cause you to hate. Um, I was always looking for um, I was always looking to fit in. I felt um, I didn't fit in, and I was searching, trying to find me. Where do I fit in at? Um, do I matter? Um, am I somebody? I was looking for that. I was seeking that, and um, every time I thought that I found it, like in the first relationship, you know, I thought I found it. You know, an abuse, an abusive relationship doesn't necessarily all the time mean sexual abuse. An abusive relationship could also mean the words that you hear that's spoken to you, that's spoken over you, that you're constantly hearing. And not only in my first relationship was I sexually abused, but I was mentally and physically abused. So I guess my childhood, when I had the skin problem, I had that was an abuse too, because I was talked about. Like I said, abuse it comes in many forms. Um, all of it hurts, no matter what type it is, if it's sexual, physical, mental, it all hurts. And so, like I said earlier, when I was young and had that problem with my skin, I was being abused, I was being bullied all the time when I went to school. So I grew up um, not having too much of a self esteem because it just seems like I didn't fit in anywhere. I couldn't understand, how some people, not all people, some people can say things or do things and it to them it's okay. And so I grew up with that, and that was, part of me, a part of my thinking pattern. Um, so I felt that, you know, I wasn't really loved. I knew my mother loved me. I knew my father loved me. I knew my brothers and my sisters loved me. But I was searching for a deep, deep love that would help me get out of this here low self esteem attitude. I put on a lot of fronts. I put on a lot of fake pictures. I'm sorry, fake looks. Um, that I was so happy. I was this, there was things in my life that I was happy about. Yes, but deep down inside, I was searching for love. And you hear a lot of times people say searching for love in all wrong places. Yeah, that was me. I was searching for love in all the wrong places, searching for love, thinking that, this is it. And when abuse came, that was okay because that, I grew up with that. I grew up with abuse, from outsiders. When my sisters and my brothers, would say things about me, they didn't really mean it, but they didn't realize the damage those words were doing to me, because they didn't have a problem with their skin. I had the problem with my skin. It seems like um, I was, um, oh God, how can I put it? It seemed like I couldn't catch a break. That's so I accepted, whatever, was said. I accepted, put a smile on my face, even joked about it, when, you know, the kids made fun of me when I had a skin problem. I joked about it. So I accepted it. You never realize um how much um you accept things. You don't consider it as an abuse. The name calling. You don't consider that as being abused. You just consider it as, being bullied. But bully is being abused, no matter how you look at it. Any form of any words or anything anyone do to you that's not right is abuse. And I see a lot of emphasis on sexual abuse. Um, I don't see a lot of emphasis on the mentality or the words abuse. And I had a lot of that. And I didn't want to speak um, bad words um, to anybody because I know how them words hurt me. Always, even growing up, always wanted to make sure that the other person was happy, that they didn't, they weren't hurting. So, whenever I see somebody hurting, I would say something to try to encourage them. But my mother, she would say, it'll be okay. You're beautiful. You know, I heard those words, but when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see those words. I didn't see anything beautiful about me. So it was hard for me to accept because what I kept seeing was the rash. What I kept seeing is, the words that were spoken over me, when I was going through school. So I kept that seed within me and I grew up with it. And I learned to adapt. I learned to um, accept. So when I got into the first relationship, you know, I was looking for love, and I'm thinking, this man loves me. You know, all that is great. He loves me because the fact of the matter, my skin had cleared up. Every now and then it would break out, but he never mentioned anything about my skin. So to me, that was a plus. Okay, I got somebody that's not talking about my skin. That's a plus. Oh, yes. This is awesome. This is great. Um, so I got deep into the relationship, young, immature, but I felt that, oh my God, this is love. Oh my God, he loves me. He's not talking about my skin. He's not making fun of me. Matter of fact, he's saying nice words. He's encouraging me. He's lifting me up. He's telling me he loves me. He's telling me, you know, all the nice words. I didn't hear any negative words for a while. I didn't. So I stayed. You know, uh in the first relationship, yeah, he, every now and then, I would get hit, but then he would apologize. So I didn't see that as anything to leave him for, because he hit me. He was having a bad day, and I may have done something. So I didn't see that as um, the reason to leave, the reason to run. So I stayed and I accepted it. You know, and a lot of times that's the main reason. If you go back and research your life, and you start seeing little things that you went through when you were growing up, and um, how you didn't consider it as an abuse back then, because um, being talked about wasn't considered an abuse. It was just considered, somebody, mad at you, want to hurt your feelings. But that was a type of abuse. So, when I was able to get free from the first relationship, get free from my kids' dad, and start, I'm thinking, start all over. But that their hurt was still there, but I ignored it. I say, I'm no longer in that relationship. I know I was hurt in that relationship, but I'm no longer there. So when it was years before I got into another relationship with the minister, and so I was walking uh, in um, fantasy. I guess I could say that word. I guess I could say that. I was walking in where I thought all was good, and that, I'm good. I was free from this relationship. So, I didn't think anything about it when I got into this other relationship, because I hid and refused to think about my past. I'm feeling that, hey, that's over with. I know that I'm not going to go back that way anymore. So I didn't want to even think about having sex. Mm-mm, no. To me, sex was filthy, disgusting, unnecessary, because I was hurt in it. So therefore, I didn't want no part of it. Even when I was going with this minister, there was no sex involved. I didn't want no part of it. And I was never thinking about, if we got married, you know, and it came to us sleeping together, having sex. I didn't even think about that, because I cared less about sex. All I know is that this man proposed to me. I didn't see the big picture, that proposing, getting married, and then you're having sex. I didn't see that. Sex was excluded from my life. I didn't think about it, and had didn't even think about, when I married this minister, we would have to have sex. Didn't think about it. And a lot of times people say, some things happen for a reason. And even though it hurt what he did, you know, put this letter underneath my door, and I went through, I went through hell within myself. And I made up in my mind, I'm going to be very, very careful. So, I had to start all over again because that girl that was hurt was still within me. And I needed to be happy. And I sought happiness. I mean, when I gave my life to the Lord, I knew the Lord loved me. Um, and and I knew that God cared a whole lot for me, and that He healed me, but I refused to let the hurt go because I couldn't understand how in the world can I go on, and I done been hurt twice by men. So, sometimes we need to hear encouraging words. It lifts you up. Because some days, were some bad days for me. I just needed to hear encouraging words. So that's why I didn't really want to tell anybody about the truth, about the relationship with the minister. No, no. So I'm going to always reach out to, the single women, um, helping them realize that they can make it. The two men, the relationships I had wasn't the only relationship I got into. So, season 2 will explain even different uh, things that happened in my life. And I'm not giving up. I'm reaching out. I will continue to reach out because there is a young lady out there that's waiting on me. And if I give up my story, if I stop my journey, if I stop doing this podcast, and if I stop doing live streaming, I will lose her. So I know that there's somebody, young lady, that we're going to be able to talk. I even going to be setting up Zoom calls where we can have conversations. We could be on a Zoom call and we could talk, face one another, and see and hear and listen and understand. That is my goal. And I'm going to reach that goal. So like I always say, the Lord loves you and so do I. And you can always reach me at beingmsdiva@gmail.com. If you want to be on a live stream, if you want to be on my podcast, if you want to be on Zoom as soon as I get it set up, you're welcome. I will never, ever discourage you, talk down to you. I will always lift you up because I know what it's like. I know what you're going through. And I'm going to be a help, a blessing to some young lady or women from all over. Keep listening, and I thank you. I'm not giving up. Being MsDiva@gmail.com. I'm not giving up my podcast. I'm not giving up my YouTube channel. I'm in it to win single women everywhere to let them know if you've been in an abusive situation, I know I can help you. We could talk. Have a great day. And remember, God loves you. Be blessed. Thank you.